G'day ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zach and welcome back to Print It. On this week's episode of Hobby Highlights and Headlines, I'll be running you through my weekly progress and all the hobby that I've done, some awesome new 3D printing creators that I have been adoring looking at their models, and this week's special hobby hero. Getting straight into my hobbying for the week, I have been a little, not as productive as my previous weeks, but still semi-productive. I actually built up this gorgeous little goblin guy, and I initially got him from a Kickstarter that I had backed a couple of weeks ago. He was the free model that was included in with it, so I wanted to just get him painted up like nice and quickly and just sort of experiment around. And I will admit, I'm really happy with how he turned out. As I speak, I actually do have some more stuff printing on the printers outside, but I really thought I would challenge myself on this. And for those who don't know Craft World Studio, they have a very, very unique style, and it's very vibrant, very colorful, multiple different colors in the shadows and things. So I decided I'd try and challenge myself by sort of copying their style, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. We'll have a bunch of different pictures going over here of like the process that I went through, but it was really fun and kind of like reinvigorating just painting like a non-standard mini. And like these guys are technically kind of goblins, sort of like in between like grot and orc size. Like the proportions are really different, and I kind of love the cartooniness of them. It really lets you have a lot of fun with a bunch of different colors and emphasize different things. And overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Like it more or less gave the effect that I wanted it to. And like obviously, I'm not going to become a master painter overnight trying to copy their style, but I really would like to try and challenge myself more or less to do something a little bit differently, because like this was such a fun challenge and I didn't want to do something sort of traditional, because like that can get very step by step. And yeah, this sort of really reinvigorated my passion for painting, and I'm definitely keen to paint a few more. And like it does take a lot longer, but I find that I really enjoy the process of kind of mixing and matching the colors and figure out what goes where. So definitely you will see a few more of those guys coming up in the weeks ahead. Next up, I did actually go ahead and finally start working on some old projects. For those who don't know, I have a pile of shame down in the description below. It was basically a chronicle of all the stuff that I have bought. I don't really include 3D printing stuff unless I explicitly either have it for a video or it's something that I 100% intend to add to an army. Because a lot of the time I'll just 3D print stuff for the sake of testing out the models and the quality of things and like pre-supports and stuff. And then I just throw them in a bits box because I have commitment issues when it comes to 3D printing. There is a bunch of stuff that I want to do, and this week I actually built the Legion Imperialis tanks that my roommate Brittywee bought me, and they're really freaking cool. The only thing that kind of sucks about them is the fact that there's so many parts for seemingly no reason. Like Games Workshop went as far as, like, if you can see it on these guys, the little individual smokestacks at the back, that's not one piece. It's the thing that the smokestacks click into, and then there's 4 separate smokestacks, which, why is that a thing? Like, I do love GW kits, but they're seemingly getting to a point, because like I never used to not like building models, but I think it was for the most part, like they were very simple to build. Whereas nowadays, like you have to build them with instructions basically, and they're all laser cut. So it's very specific in the ways that they go together. And I can't say I'm 100% a fan of that. And the fact that like there are just so many parts to them, and like it's not enjoyable to build a model, especially like at this size that was like, I think nearly 20 or 30 parts. I could be exaggerating, it might be like 10 to 20. But yeah, it just seemed like a lot more than it should have been, because like you can print a whole Space Marine very easily as one piece, and like these little guys are an absolute nightmare. But now that hard part is done and I've done a little cleanup and everything on them, I am very excited to get some paint on them. And I originally was going to go for a Word Bearers color scheme, or even the old Thousand Suns, because I love that candy patina to the models. But I've ultimately decided to just go with my heart, and I'm going to do World Eaters, because I had a lot of fun painting them when I did my actual World Eaters army before I sold it. And yeah, I would really love to see how those translate to the small models, especially because like there's a bunch of transfers that you get with this kit. So I will definitely be using those guys and having a bunch of fun with them. But that leads me on to the hobby headlines, and there's not much that I want to talk about besides a few creators that I have found online, and I'm very, very excited to share them with you, because people are doing, like I keep saying every week, everyone's doing really amazing stuff, and I like that people are starting to put their own spin on a lot of different things. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is an awesome creator, or should I say series, that's called Of Oil and Iron. Now, these guys have an absolute, like, I love what they're doing because the majority of their stuff seems to be mechs and things, and they have recently released the diesel-powered automata, which look pretty freaking cool. And of my opinion, I think they would make awesome Tau proxies. Like, these guys kind of have like a sort of sleek, rustic, iron, industrial look to them, and they're really, really freaking cool. I love the fact that there is so much customizability to them, and you can sort of mix and match pieces here, there, and everywhere. And if you go and check out the rest of the range, there's a bunch of cool mechs and things if that's your jazz. And I think they would really lend themselves well to doing like the old school like scale model, like tank sort of paint jobs with them. I think that would really pick out a lot of the details and just sell the models very, very well. But yes, I definitely may or may not in the future get some models from those, because I especially want to paint up some of the big mechs. They look like a hell of a lot of fun. Next up, you guys have most likely heard of Atlan Forge, but they recently released one of their new loyalty rewards, and it's really freaking cool. It's basically like a space marine on the back of a Parasaurolophus, and if you don't know what that is, it's the dinosaur that he's riding. It's really, really cool, and I like the fact that Atlan Forge is doing things that are non-traditional, like they're bringing a bunch of random creatures and things into sort of like space marine-esque models, and yeah, it's really interesting to see, and I kind of wish Games Workshop would have a little bit more fun with it and kind of branch out and put some more animals and stuff, because I love painting animals, and I think it's really cool when you have like a full mecha freaking dinosaur. Like, that is the coolest thing that you will probably see all day. And I don't think I'll pick one up because I love Atlan Forge models, but they're very detail heavy, and I feel like I'd get caught up in them and not enjoy the process. But other than eye candy, they look fucking awesome. I really, really want to see more of that stuff, and I'm keen to see what they do in the future. Next up, I have some awesome models from Felipe Manevel, and this isn't actually released yet, but it is one of the releases that they're going to be doing. And right now they're doing a Kickstarter called the Defenders of Byzantium, which I'm not 100% sure what that is, but from the looks of it, it's kind of like a sort of high fantasy sort of sci-fi release, which is very, very nice. But I really want to showcase these awesome kind of Aztec Necrons that they've made. They're really, really cool, and they kind of sort of blend between like the Saurus Warriors kind of vibe and like they kind of blend between like the Seraphon sort of releases and kind of Necron, and I freaking love it. Like, they're very traditional, kind of Aztec is the word that I'm looking for, and yeah, I really, really like them. There's a lot of detail behind them, and they're obviously very distinct in the way that they have all their paraphernalia and everything on. And he's also made this big ass freaking transport thing, which that is cool as hell. I freaking love that thing, and I don't know how the hell you would go about painting this. Also, they've got like little details, like the dudes that are hanging off the ship itself. I think that's really, really neat, and I definitely want to maybe get my fucking hands on one, because yeah, it looks like it'd be a lot of fun to slap a bunch of gold paint amongst other things and a bunch of silver and paint up real quick, because yeah, I love Necrons in general, and I would like to do some more with Necron-y things. So maybe I'll add kind of like a scavenger force of Necrons to my original army once I start building that up a little bit more. Last but not least, there is this awesome tank from That Evil One, the Scorparius Heavy Tank. Now, I don't know what it is about tanks that kind of look semi-realistic, but I freaking love them. Everything about them is absolutely insane, and something about, like, maybe it's the hard curves and everything that are on the models, but I absolutely adore this. And although this isn't super realistic, it's kind of got like the 4 treads and everything, and I absolutely adore that. So I may or may not, if not print up something like that, or like this one specifically. I have a couple in my backlog that are very specific and of a similar vein, so you may or may not see something about those in the future, because I've got a lot of videos planned, and I definitely need to focus on those before I start adding more and more projects to the mound. Last but not least, it is time for this week's hobby hero, and I would love to give a massive shout out to Kieran from 40KW. He is an incredible painter, and like I say to everyone every week, but he also goes as far as converting some really cool models. And as you can see from here, he does a bunch of different things. From the looks of it, a lot of it's like sort of chaosy vibes and that kind of genre. but he does branch out and do a couple of different things every now and again. And I really like the fact that his paint style seems very, very grounded in reality, and it ties his models together very nicely and really sells the overall grimdark aesthetic of everything that he converted. And like, even if you look closely at a lot of the different things that he has done, a lot of the conversions are very, very, I would say purposeful. You know, like you look at, he's got this awesome Fabius Bile, I do believe it is, on that big beast from Age of Sigmar, and that's really, really neat to see. He also paints the models, like especially the skin on like the beast itself. It looks very sickly, very kind of chaosy and torn, and I freaking love it. Now there is also a bunch of other stuff that he has done on his page, and yeah, I like the little subtle conversions that he does because they kind of change the model, sort of taking away like the iconic things. So say for example the Abaddon that he did, he from the looks of it seemed to have put kind of like a Space Wolfy vibe on it, and painted it up like that, and oh, absolutely stunning. And I just want to give a massive shout out to him this week. I really liked a lot of his stuff and very much am looking forward to what he does in the future. I wouldn't mind trying to paint sort of in a grimdark style similar to his, and maybe sort of seeing if I can copy a similar vein. Because yeah, his models, even though they're grimdark, don't look just like dark messes of models, if that makes sense. I tend to find that my biggest gripe with grimdark is everyone goes with these sort of nice kind of subtle colors and then just puts like oil washes upon oil washes and like darkens them down a lot. Whereas with him, he's got some nice little pops of colors in amongst all the darkness, and it kind of accentuates it in a really, really fun way. But yes, I'm definitely keen to see what he does in the future and would like to give a massive shout out to him this week. But unfortunately, that is everything that I have time for today. Just want to say a massive shout out to everyone who has watched this far in the video, and just want to say if you do like this video and you're not part of the community, consider subscribing. I would love to see your friendly face during our amazing community of hobby heroes. And if you did indeed enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. It helps push it out to the YouTube algorithm and get brand new faces and people to join this channel. I would very much appreciate it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.